Hi. Welcome to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Mayer, and this show's for you if you're done with cookie cutter marketing and ready to build your personal brand in alignment with who you really are. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. And we're jumping into the second part of our 12 Lessons for 2024 series. So I'm going to be talking about the lessons and the highlights from February 2024. Now, this was a very different month after January being spent partly in Bali. So as we moved into February, for me, I moved into work mode. Generator, let's do this. I launched my signature program, the Frequency Project, and I found myself deeply immersed in my work and loving on it. Like I do have this experience, and maybe if you have generator energy as well, you relate to it, where as much as I enjoy my freedom, I just find working so satisfying. So the early part of February was very much in that frothing on my business and in creation and marketing my program, which I love to do because it is so powerful and has helped change so many lives. So really in that zone was how my February was spent a lot of the time. Now, looking back, here are some highlights and also kind of the challenges or the things that showed up for me along the way. So highlight would be that it was a very abundant month. It was a successful launch. I used Facebook ads to promote the masterclass, which I hadn't done in 2023. And that was a good experience because I spent just $1,000 and had a $2,000 sign up. So it was like really high return on that investment. So that felt really good. And also that it was giving me evidence that I could invest more into ads in the future and have positive ROI. So that part was really interesting. Another thing that was going on was this is the first time that I'd launched the Frequency Project with a mix of pre-recorded modules and live calls. Up until this point, I'd run it live. So every single call was me presenting content as well as some coaching. And I had already launched the Frequency Project by that time. I'd had 3 rounds. And I knew by this point that this was some of my life's work, like so important for me to systemize for scalability, so important for me to better systemize the program itself so I could scale it and help many more humans in that process. And so what I had done over the December-January period was I had run it live, but in a way that I could record it, and therefore for future Frequency Project participants that the teaching part would be pre-record, and then the live part would be the coaching calls. Now, I was a bit nervous because I was playing with something that had worked and iterating, but it turned out that I didn't need to be nervous, that it was a huge success and had, incredible women signed up. I also gave the opportunity to people that had done the program in the past to come back in and to get a 50% discount to actually stay for all future Frequency Project rounds. And that worked out really well. I think I had four people that had already done the Frequency Project join up again because they'd gotten so much out of it. They loved the community and were like, oh my goodness, this is the best opportunity ever. So very abundant month. I also, to celebrate this month, did what I want to share as one of my lessons that I think is vitally important. I booked a retreat at the end of the month where I would be offline. There's a great retreat center. It's based on yoga and clean eating in the outskirts of Sydney. It's called Billabong Yoga Retreat, which is somewhere that I've been before, and I knew that it would really help me ground and get out of that overworking behavior, which seems to happen with me when I'm launching something, and offline, and just completely reconnect to myself, my body's wisdom. And I also find that when I do this, I have amazing downloads. So highly recommend that you do this. The other thing about planning something like this after a big, say, let's call it push in your business, is that it teaches your body that the effort is going to come with a reward, not just in terms of, yay, more work, but actually putting these things into place can help your nervous system know that, yes, we're pushing, but there's going to be celebration. There's going to be a moment of recalibrating energy. And so that was, I already knew that this was going to be a very successful launch by mid-month. And so I booked in this retreat and I booked in all the bells and whistles. So that meant, I had a treatment every day and it was amazing. I loved it. So February was a very big work month and an abundant financial month. At that point, I was looking back year on year and seeing such big growth. So I felt really good about my business. Now, from a more challenging perspective, February starts off with some root-centered gates. So this is when I was in the drive energy, and then it moves into a lot of emotional energy. So gate after gate sitting in the solar plexus. And so I did find that my emotions were quite intense at times, and being aware of the transits has really helped me be able to understand, why am I feeling like this? What is coming up? And be able to manage that as well. So something to look out for you in that time of the year as well is, especially for a non-emotional being, that you may feel more emotional. Big lesson for the month was to be present, because I made a massive mistake in February, which was I put petrol into my van, my beautiful van, and I obviously wasn't concentrating. I put petrol in when it's meant to be diesel. Now, I'm pretty good at, when I make a mistake, at just accepting the consequences, but this was a multiple $1,000 mistake that I made by not concentrating. So the end of the month was marked by me being a little tough on myself, I'll be honest, but also aware that I needed to be more present and not in my head and thinking about all the business things that I tend to do, and actually be in the moment. And so that was my big lesson for February as well, to be present. So I invite you to share in that one. Now, as I run this series, note to you and reminder that this is not just about me and the story of my year. I want you to reflect on your 2024. And I really invite you to explore your February, maybe get out your journals or look through your iPhone photos to reconnect into what was coming up for you then, and really look for your lessons. Like, what did you grow through in this year that can really help set you up for more expansiveness as we move into 2025? That's it for now. I will be back shortly with episode 3 in this series, which will be the third lesson coming from March. I'll see you real soon. There are heaps more resources in the show notes. I can't wait to be back in your ears again soon. Bye for now.